Hi, my name is Miles, and my pronouns are he, him, his. I work for Equitas Health, and I'm here in search of the rural rainbow with my guest from rural Ohio. I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Daniel Matthews, pronouns he, him, his. I also work for Equitas Health in the Southeast region in Athens and in Portsmouth. Um, yeah.
Great. And so, so I asked you here today to just have a conversation about the rural part of the state. I think our cities get a lot of focus in terms of services, media attention, healthcare options, and our community lives everywhere, as
Yeah.
you very well know, right? And so I just wanted to kind of pick your brain about what is going on outside of the cities and what the community needs look like from your vantage point. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna head through my questions.
Okay. Sounds
So,
good.
so, so why do you believe that it's important for us to focus on LGBTQ support in rural areas?
Um, Representation matters, especially in mental health care, physical health care, just, being able to go out and do things in the community that you want to do to have fun, feeling welcome, feeling like it's just a safe place to be. So yeah, I think that's the biggest part.
Good. So, what are the benefits of having positive role models that actually represent the area? I know it's like we see a lot of people in the media, famous people that come out, but why would it be important for a rural person to have role models from the area?
So looking at some of the data from the Trevor Project, LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to attempt, contemplate, or complete suicide than their non-LGBTQ peers. And the thing is, with rural in general, for youth in general, the rates of suicide contemplation, completion, all that are double than urban peers, right? So for LGBTQ people or LGBTQ youth in general, being 4 times more likely to experience suicidal ideations makes it even more important for that support to be in rural Ohio. And not only for youth, but also for adults, because a lot of adults are isolated. A lot of people feel like they're maybe the only LGBTQ person, or if someone is living with HIV, that isolation is very, very big in these areas. And it causes a lot of issues: depression, anxiety, feeling of not having a purpose or connection. So for having local or rural peers that someone can actually look to and see, oh, this is a real person. This is someone I can message, and they're going to message me back, versus someone who may be, a celebrity or, more celebrated in the media or whatever, who typically they don't run their own stuff, and so they're not going to message you back, and you may not get that support you need. So having some local peer supports are very, very important, because you don't have to seek that support somewhere else. You don't have to move away like many people did, when we were younger. I know that's the first thing I did, was I ran to Columbus because I was not affirmed here. But the good thing is now I'm here and I'm able to do some things that and offer some things that weren't around when I was younger and when other people were younger.
Yeah, it provides that sense of hope, I think, when you
Mhm.
see people who look and live like you in your community that are living and thriving. And also I also ran from the rural areas to the city and didn't go back. And so part of the reason why I'm having this discussion with you today, because I'm thinking a lot about what work I need to do to really support rural Ohio. So so you're our positive role model, and I appreciate that, Daniel. And I know I put a lot of pressure on you for that. But what are some of the some of the things you're doing and some of the other initiatives that are happening in rural Ohio to really support people in our community.
Okay. So I did start a nonprofit, First Capital Pride Coalition. We do a lot of good stuff. You can check us out online at firstcapitalpride.com, firstcapitalpride.org, and all the social medias. And we have a list of events that we do weekly, support groups. And then we also have our Pride events coming up in August. So check those out because they're two very family friendly, no alcohol, sober events. And then there is the one adult drag show dance, and that is adults only, and there will be libations there, but it will be in a controlled and safe environment.
What other things are going on in the rural areas just to support people?
So luckily, our downtown, if you go around the downtown to the shops, you'll see these nice little progressive rainbow flags in the windows. And that was something that we went around and offered business owners, to just kind of show their support. And, they didn't have to pay for anything or give us anything. But that's what we did. And I was contacted recently by the Gazette, and they said that they've noticed these all around town. And so that's really cool because that shows, LGBTQ people that, hey, you're welcome here. You're going to be safe here. Also our mayor is awesome. The last 2 years, he has written and provided a proclamation, stating, that the equal rights of LGBTQ people in Ross County, and just really showing that Chillicothe is an affirming place to be. And then there are a lot of other groups that are also taking the charge and providing spaces for LGBTQ people to not only feel safe but also receive services that are affirming. And so that's some really cool stuff that I see happening in at least Ross County and surrounding areas.
Yeah, it's been great this year too because there's been a lot of small communities in Ohio offering pride events. And I think other initiatives around the small towns in Ohio. I know Marysville had an event, Springfield had an event,
Yeah.
some up in the Akron Canton area, Mansfield, Newark Pride, of course Athens, right?
Athens, yep. That was
The
what I was
blue
about to
dot in the
say.
south, right? The blue dot in the south, but
Yep,
it's
yep,
great seeing these pop-ups in these
yep.
small communities. And when you go to these prides and you see um, the inclusivity, the community, the entire community that comes out and participates, and the businesses, it's I think it's really helpful. I think especially for our young folks to see this, and it really is a testament to the work of people like yourself who live in the area and really work with leaders to make changes. What what are some services that are needed from your viewpoint? What's
Um,
really lacking in terms of services?
so I have been a huge advocate for us having clinics, Equitas Health clinics in the Southeast region. I'd love to see one in Portsmouth. I would love to see one in Athens. I would love to see one in Chillicothe because that's my home. So I would love to see more LGBTQ affirming, inclusive, but also affirming, especially care, healthcare, dental, mental health care, which we are doing, we're providing. But yeah, so those actual wraparound services, I would love to see more of that in these areas where it's more accessible. The beautiful thing with telehealth is now geographically, there's not a huge issue, but it would be awesome to have more places that people could walk in and be like, okay, I know my doctor is going to know that if I am transgender, I still need to have these types of services. Or if I am a woman who identifies as lesbian, that I still may need cancer screenings, even though I'm not, engaging in certain sexual practices with men. or like with men also need pap smears, and those are not things that are considered by most of the practitioners around here. I know one doctor, and he is amazing. And I won't say his name on here, but he's really the only one down here that I absolutely know that if I send someone there, that he is going to do that full inclusive wraparound health check with an LGBTQ person. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting now we have this mobile van.
Mhm.
It's,
Yes.
exam rooms on wheels. And so we're really looking at how we could build this fleet and get it around the state in a um, more efficient manner than always building a brick and mortar clinic.
Mhm.
So we look forward to seeing how this helps us, along with telehealth, transforms the way we do business over the next coming years. So appreciate that. And then, what are some things that those of us living in the city can do? Like, what are some ways that we can help extend support out to the rural areas?
Um, so obviously, I'm always the biggest thing I think of is if you see some events happening in rural areas, come down, come check them out, show your support. I'd never like to ask for money, but if you can donate to certain groups like the Pride Coalition in Athens, and Portsmouth has their Portsmouth City Welcoming Community. They could not have a Pride this year because they are a church and there are some certain things they have their hands tied with, so they weren't able to have their Pride this year. But so, you know, showing support in really any way, showing up, I think, is one of the biggest and best supports that we can ever do in any situation. Yeah, so yes, that's a huge thing that I think could really be good. Just showing up. Yep.
Showing up, supporting businesses that support affirming care and equitable employment policies. I think those are really great ideas, and certainly financially supporting these organizations that are doing the important work in rural Ohio.
Yeah.
Well,
And
so I'll go ahead.
well, and I also wanted to add, sorry about that,
Yeah.
is, I am a firm believer in collaborative work, right? So there was this little quote, and I'm not going to quote it right, but you know, community is sitting at the table with people that make us feel uncomfortable. So like we got to put personalities aside, all those kinds of things. Otherwise, we just have a clique or a club, right? So reach out to different people. Reach out to me if you want to, and because I'm always welcome for suggestions, ideas on how I can also do better. Even though I live here, I don't always know exactly what's needed. So yeah, I'm always open for ideas.
Well, and I appreciate that. And as long as I've known you, you've always you've been a huge advocate for rural Ohio, and also you do a lot of the heavy lifting. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your time today. I know this isn't the end; it's just the beginning of a conversation, and hopefully an awareness of, guess what? There are LGBTQ folks living in rural Ohio, and we need to get support out to them, and we need to recognize them and see them. So thank you very much, Daniel. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Miles. You have a good day.
You too.